So here what I am saying is, as a human being, you have to allow yourself anger. You see, anger is not destructive. When it is repressed for years and months, then it becomes destructive. Stand up for yourself. Because most of the people who are suffering in relation, they are not standing up for themselves because they judge their anger. Whenever they were trespassed emotionally, in their being holy and being nice and being spiritual, they kind of sit on their anger. It doesn't mean you shout at people. You have to release that anger and express that anger. And you will be surprised when you express your emotion, you are creating more intimacy. So here I may be looking like a not very spiritual speech on anger, but I am more practical and human.
Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram.
Now, in terms of emotions then, just on an individual level, I think there's probably no emotion as fiery as anger. There's this whole idea that for spiritual people or good people, they're not supposed to get angry. They're always supposed to be calm, always supposed to be peaceful, forgiving, and all these kinds of things. So a question for you is, what is the difference between a healthy anger and an unhealthy anger?
Essentially, in our whole conditioning, we judge every emotion, be it sexuality, be it sensuality, be it anger. Our whole training is, it is a problem. And that problem comes because of the judgment. When a guru says that your hindrance is sex, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, these are the 5 vices related to the 5 elements. There, now here, I will give that example again. Fire may look angry. Volcano look angry, but it is not angry. It is just expression of energy. If you happen to be around. Now, first let me give you a background that why we need to understand our anger. It doesn't mean you shout at people. You have to release that anger and express that anger. Because I met so many people, I realized most of their problem and issues are because they judge their anger. Whenever they were trespassed emotionally, in their being holy and being nice and being spiritual, they kind of sit on their anger. They kind of take that energy and start to judge themselves. I shouldn't be angry. I should be more forgiving. You see, forgiveness is light. It's not fire. Forgiveness is light of that fire. So if you tell your fire not to burn, you are really putting it off. It's very important to understand this. You can forgive only from at a distance, and anger is protecting you to create a distance. Somebody trespasses your territory. Somebody interferes with your expression in some way. For example, I get very angry when somebody interferes while I'm singing because I'm putting out my fire in a form of song and somebody interrupts it. I cannot do anything. I will lash at that person because the same energy, which is fire, if I somehow tolerate it, I won't be able to sing. So for me, the question is, should I repress my anger and suffer for 1 week, or should you suffer now for 1 minute of anger and face the consequences in a relation and be healthy about it like children do? So here what I am saying is, as a human being, you have to allow yourself anger. Not, you see, anger is not destructive. When it is repressed for years and months, then it becomes destructive. You see, which child's anger, which dog's anger becomes destructive? It just gets angry, barks, then he starts to wag his tail and be happy with you, playing it, forgets completely about it. But we carry it. So same is with anything. Same is happening with sexuality. Same is happening with any emotion that, and I tell you another thing, a repressed love becomes anger. When you are unable to express your love, because that is the way you share your warmth, it becomes an explosion in outside in anger. And when you are able to flow through your love, your anger is mostly, mothers do get angry, fathers do get angry, brothers do get angry with each other. But when you start to bring a judgment that this is wrong, I shouldn't be angry, it wastes. Yes, I have to add, when you're doing meditation, around that time, anger state of anger will deplete all the energy of meditation. So that's why they say, watch out for your anger, because you are so volatile and sensitive. And if you're not careful, what energy you have gathered, which is very beautiful, powerful energy, but when you are interrupted, you will just shoot it out. You just shoot it out. And that's where anger is considered very dangerous for spiritual growth. So that is the separate matter, because that is your gathering an energy, but you have to figure out your leakages there. But on everyday level, it is much healthy to get angry in a situation when you're trespassed than to carry it. If you have capacity to forget in that moment and realize and no anger comes, then it's fine. Otherwise, anger, you don't have to scream or shout. You can tell the person about your anger that I am angry and I do not like what you said. Even saying that settles the matters, but not saying anything is where that energy, because that energy doesn't want to punch the person, it wants to express that this is not okay. So those trespasses has to be understood. And there, what I mean, stand up for yourself. Because most of the people who are suffering in relation, they are not standing up for themselves. They are just take the shit and go, okay, and feel holier than thou, but you carry that. And I realized my epilepsy was the reason of that, because I had an immense rage, but I couldn't express it. It became my seizures. But when I understood that and I started to scream in the jungle and sing and shout and all. So this anger, please remember, it's your creativity also. It's your fire. And most of the people suffering from depression is from the repressed anger. It starts to kill you. So that's the choice. Do you want to end up destroying a friendship, or you want to end up killing yourself? So I would say here, be selfish, destroy a toxic situation, not feeling that, oh, what will happen if I get angry? Get angry. And you will be surprised. When you express your emotion, you are creating more intimacy. So here I may be looking like a not very spiritual speech on anger, but I am more practical and human, because you better to have a healthy emotional flowing relations, then you can really put them together. Then you will not need anger, but your words will be enough. If somebody trespasses, you can sternly say, do not do that. That's what Krishna said to Shishupal, that I will allow you 1001 bad words. And somebody asked Osho, why 1001? They say, you have to set a boundary in relations. You can allow somebody, but then you say, look, this is, I do not appreciate. 2 times, 3 times I told you this, I do not appreciate. Do not do that. If they still do it, then you let them have the, expression. And that sets the rules in your relation also, because when people know you don't say anything, they do not know how far not to go. They keep on entering. And this is where most of the people are trespassed by others, because they're just nice. And when you start to create that fire into you, you realize people stop interfering without your saying, because on animal level, other understands in his eyes or her eyes, if I trespass, it won't be an easy game. So they stay away. And that is needed. We are designed like that to have our own energy territory. And you can enjoy my heat, you can enjoy my light, but don't interfere with my wood and fire. Don't tell me it is wrong and go off. No, keep a distance. You will enjoy my heat and my light. But if you tell me your flame is wrong, then you are wrong and you are making yourself sick. And what happens when your fire is repressed? You give out smoke. That's what your mind fucks are. There's smoke. They're potential fuel for the fire, but now you are just oozing out thoughts, never really expressing, never really catching up and fire. And I have noticed when I am very creatively active, I am more prone to anger if I am interfered. So in that, I avoid any kind of interactions, because it becomes very sudden a shock. So do not judge anger. See it as a pure fire energy. Don't make it your part of your judgments. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think one key thing is that it's the healthy anger is an immediate reaction and expression in response to the needs of the moment, as opposed to something that you calculate, make a story about, and then you bring it out later, right? Like this immediate. And I think often I'm sometimes repress my anger because I'm scared of the consequence of expressing that anger in the moment. Then I'll just keep it bottled up inside. and then later I'll get angry at somebody who didn't actually even trespass anything. I just because I'm frustrated and it needs to come out at
Yeah.
some point, and then that leads to a lot of issues.
And I would like to add here that that anger not necessarily have to be the anger as we know. That can be a very stern look also. You can just look with anger at somebody and that much is enough. And you will feel you keep flowing with that. But if you keep that, you get blocked. So you see, let's be practical and real in this life. In this time, you cannot survive by being nice and letting everybody trespass. You will be eaten up. And that is very important to know that this is, so anger is your fire which keeps other away.
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaj Man Haran Bhav Bhaya Darunam Nav Kanj Lochana Kanj Mukh Kar Kanj Pad Kanj